What is going on, everybody? Welcome back here today to another NBA talk video. I haven't done one of these in a minute, like a sit-down talk video. And it is going to be, I'm going to be talking about 5 teams that need to add a superstar either via trade or via free agency. So what I mean by like need to add another superstar, like take the team to the next level. Like they're not content where they are and they're in position to get like another superstar. So like a team that won't be making this list or like will be the Hawks, because they're not really in position to add another superstar right now. They're obviously building through the draft. And I'm obviously not going to name the Houston Rockets because their salary situation, they're not positioned to get another star either. So I'm going to be giving you 5 teams that I think could make a move via free agency or via trade to add another superstar to their team to get them to the next level. If you guys want to drop a like on this video, I would appreciate it, because if you guys show more support on NBA Talk videos, I could do these more along with rebuilds. I kind of have one up on the screen here. This was actually the end of the Miami Heat realistic rebuild. This video is also sponsored by Cheez-Its. Thank you for them for sponsoring today's video. I'm just kidding. I don't have enough clout for that. But the first team we are talking about that needs to possibly add another superstar and that will be taken to the next level is kind of an obvious one that you guys would probably expect for me to talk about, and that's the LA Lakers. So obviously the LA Lakers signed the best player they made in free agency last offseason, possibly the best player of all time, currently playing as an elite #1 player in the world at age, I don't even know LeBron's age off the top of my head, 34, 33, I'm probably wrong. I'm pretty sure he turns 34 soon. I could be wrong. Okay, yeah, LeBron turns 34 in, I think December 30th is what it just said as I looked it up. He's getting paid for the next 4 years, so you obviously have your superstar there. And he actually, yeah, he's going to be paid until 21-22 season. So you have him. The next best player you have on your team is Kyle Kuzma, who is under his rookie deal for the next 2 years, I believe. And then you have Brandon Ingram, and then you have Lonzo Ball. So those are your probably 3 assets that are movable. Plus, because obviously LeBron isn't movable. You do have 1-year contracts like KCP or Rondo or Stevenson or JaVale McGee. That could be throw-ins in trades. Do that by the deadline. Also, Josh Hart is one of the assets. So they have 4 assets: Lonzo, Kuzma, Ingram, and Hart that can be tradable. But we're going to kind of take Kuzma out of the occasion. I feel like when Magic Johnson said last offseason, everybody but Brandon Ingram is untouchable, that's kind of changed. Besides LeBron, everybody but Kyle Kuzma is untouchable. At least that's what they should be. Now, obviously, Anthony Davis has come up in a lot of rumors. I don't really think they have what it takes to get Anthony Davis. I think they can find a lot better offers, especially from the Celtics in the offseason if they wait, where the Rose rule won't apply to them anymore, because that's what happened when they got Kyrie. They can't trade for AD this season. They have to wait till the offseason, where I'd rather have a package of Tatum and a Kings pick, or maybe not that, but Jaylen Brown and a Kings, Grizzlies, Clippers pick, something like that for Anthony Davis. Or, yeah, I would rather have a deal like that than a deal like Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and a first-round pick. Now, yeah, Anthony Davis, I feel like it's going to be really hard, and I think that's an unrealistic guy that will be moved to the Lakers. Now, another person that I think could be realistically moved, that I would really like to see them try to make a play for at the deadline, would be Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards should enter rebuild mode. It's time. Stop being incompetent and stop trying to play for a 6th, 7th seed every year, just for you to get knocked out in the first round, land the 25th pick in the draft, and draft another bust. Because clearly, you don't know how to draft, because you haven't drafted anybody really relevant in at least 4 years since Otto Porter was drafted. But honestly, I would kind of view Otto Porter as a top 10 pick. Not a bust, but really not a hit either. Now, obviously, Bradley Beal and John Wall were great. John Wall was from the 2010 draft, I believe, and Bradley Beal was from the 2012 draft. Bradley Beal was a huge pick for them. With Deion Waiters on the board and stuff like that. I know Cleveland really wanted Bradley Beal, and that was a good pick for them. But I think it's time to move on from Bradley Beal and try to field an LA offer. If LA is willing to give you Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart for Bradley Beal, I'm taking that. If you have a chance where you can get Josh Hart instead of like their 2019 first-round pick, I'm taking that, obviously, because that 2019 pick is most likely going to be in the high 20s. Or the mid to high 20s. Yes, you could maybe look at Mo Wagner instead of Josh Hart. If you can get like a Brandon Ingram, Mo Wagner first-round pick this year for Bradley Beal. Honestly, as much as like that's such a good deal for the Lakers, because you can run a combo of like Lonzo Beal, LeBron, Kuzma, McGee, or Zubats, or whatever you want to do out there, Brandon Ingram really isn't a huge loss in that starting 5, and you're landing a top 5, top 6 shooting guard in the NBA. As much as it would be great to see LeBron James paired with Anthony Davis, that would be one of the craziest duos we would see of all time. Getting Bradley Beal is more realistic, and I think also not more fitting, but honestly, kind of more of an immediate impact. Well, not immediate impact, but it helps a really big need of shooting. Obviously, when you kind of pair up with LeBron James, you're kind of not going to be more of an ISO playmaker unless your name's Kyrie Irving. You're kind of going to be more of a spot-up shooter, or, yeah, mostly a shooter. And that's what Bradley Beal's particularly good at. He can, honestly, he can still work in his ISO stuff, but he could be a spot-up shooter along the perimeter. Say you have LeBron usually doing his ISO stuff. You surround him with, like, Lonzo, Kuzma, Beal around the perimeter. That's pretty filthy, and I think it's definitely worth giving up Brandon Ingram, who also has another year on his contract, and he's not going to be a free agent for another year, so Washington can decide on that. And yeah, I think Washington should probably pull a trigger on trading Bradley Beal. Now, the Miami Heat get interesting because they probably have the worst salary cap situation in all of the NBA. The 2015 and 2016 offseason hit them hard, where they're giving Kelly Olynyk almost $13 million a year annually. They're giving Deion Waiters $13 million a year annually. They're giving James Johnson $15 million. Dragic is making $18 million. Tyler Johnson is going to be making almost $20 million. And yeah, and Whiteside is making $25 million. So you do have your plethora of bad contracts on your roster. Now, it gets interesting with Miami. Now, the player I'm going to throw out that they should consider, and I know some people might be questioning this, but this was just an idea. I'm obviously not saying they should go out and push this. I'm just saying I think they could get this done, and if they can, I think they would be a step up of where they are now. Now, I think Miami should pursue John Wall. And before you hear me out, I know they're already in a bad contract situation. John Wall, obviously one of the worst contracts in the NBA. Not because he's a bad player by any means. It's just because he's making, I'm pretty sure, like $45 million and then like 3 years from now, and he's making pretty much like above $40 million up to that. Now, just that alone, John Wall's contract deteriorates his value. His value of what it would be, say we're going to hypothetically use 2K, and he would be a 5-star player, right, to trade for in the real NBA world. It would drop down to 3.5, 4 stars. Like, that contract does take a toll, and it kills his value a little bit. Now, I'm saying, if Washington doesn't want to take a step back and rebuild completely, and they want NBA players in return for John Wall, I'm calling him up. I'm calling up, I don't know the GM of the Wizards off the top of my head. And I would say, you could have anybody on our team, no matter what. You just can't have Josh Richardson and maybe Bam Adebayo. If Bam Adebayo is the piece that gets it done, but say you're also unloading Goran Dragic, James Johnson's contract, and God knows Deion Waiters, I maybe think about that, because you're getting some cap relief for the next couple years. Now, if you could somehow, like, because Whiteside most likely is going to opt in. He's got a $27 million player option. He's probably going to opt in. Dragic, going to opt in on his $19 million option. Tyler Johnson, going to opt in. Actually, Dragic, yeah, I think he'll opt in. Now, that's a lot of money already on the books. Now, I'm saying Josh Richardson is immediately untouchable. You can't trade for him, even if it was straight up for John Wall. That's a big, fat no. Now, if you're willing to do Goran Dragic, Kelly Olynyk, Justice Winslow, and a first-round pick, I would think about that. Or maybe not Olynyk. Maybe Dragic, Winslow, James Johnson, and a heavy protected first, or something like that. I'm saying that Miami should hop on John Wall's maybe deteriorated trade value by his contract, and honestly make a play for it. Say you're giving up $60 million or $40 million annually in this trade. You're literally just breaking even, but you're bringing in one of the best point guards in the NBA. I know a lot of people like to crap on John Wall this year and say he's not a top 5 point guard. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a top 5 point guard, but I would say he's definitely got the number 6 spot if you don't want to put him at 5. Or he's got the, yeah, if you want to say 1 is Curry, 2 is Westbrook, 3 is Kyrie, 4 is Chris Paul. Maybe not this year, Chris Paul, but maybe say 4 is Chris Paul, 5, Damian Lillard, switch him, whatever. I would say John Wall's right there at 6. I still think John Wall is better than Kyle Lowry. I still think John Wall is better than Kemba Walker. I still think John Wall is better than Ben Simmons. Maybe he's not having a complete better year than them, but I still think right now he's a better player than them. So I think Miami should make a move, try to maybe fluctuate their cap here, try to give up 3 players that are locked up for the next 3 years, take on John Wall's contract, let him be your face of Miami, even though he's making $45 million probably, I think, for the next, like, 3 years or something. Now, here's one that, number 3 is going to be the Boston Celtics. Now, Boston Celtics are already one of the best teams in the NBA. They're, on paper, they're a top 3 team, arguably the second best team in the NBA on paper. They haven't been playing like that this season. The Gordon Hayward signing has not looked good at all, given the fact that he's making 31, 32, and then 34 mil, with a player option that he's probably going to opt in. Kyrie Irving's going to opt out this summer. even he might still remain with Boston. He's just obviously going to get a lot more money than what he's making right now. Al Horford's going to opt in this $30 million option. You got Smart for the next 4 years, making it above 10 mil. And then you have Tatum on his rookie deal. You have Jaylen Brown on your rookie deal. And Rozier's a free agent as well. Now, if I'm Boston, I'm calling up the Pelicans. And I'm throwing out a huge offer for Anthony Davis that's going to get the deal done. Now, I would love... people kind of tend to hate on Tatum a little bit this year, thinking he's having a down year. I still think we should still view him at what he was last year. I still think he's going to want to be one of the premier players in this NBA. He's having a pretty efficient year, and he's still, like, probably... I guess he's technically the second scoring option behind Kyrie, since Gordon Hayward and Jaylen Brown have moved to the bench, and Marcus Smart and Marcus Morris, the Marcuses, have entered the starting five. But I don't know. If you can get this deal done without Jason Tatum, or obviously like Kyrie Irving, I'm doing this 100%. If you can somehow do this, Jaylen Brown, Kings pick, which is, I don't know, I still don't think the Kings are going to make the playoffs, but it's going to hurt a little bit, say if it's like the 12th pick, which we all projected it to be top 5 this year. So say you throw in Jaylen Brown, who I still like a lot. Like, I think a lot of teams, if Jaylen Brown's value in the Celtics' minds has plummeted this year, I'm trying to buy low on Jaylen Brown. I'm completely trying to buy low on Jaylen Brown. I'm not saying you can do Dennis Smith for Jaylen Brown. I don't know if Boston would want to do that. But if I'm a team that needs a wing and has maybe a small asset that can get, or some asset that can get it done, I'm trying to buy low on Jaylen Brown. He's what, 22, 23? I could be wrong. Or 21, 24. I don't know. But he's in that range. He was amazing last year. I just think he needs a new situation where he can get more touches. Obviously, he's going to go through these slumps. Every NBA player goes through a shooting slump, especially when you're this young in your 3rd year. And you're on a high from last year where he was so good because Kyrie Irving was out for most of the year. Gordon Hayward was out pretty much the whole year. So I think a team should buy on Jaylen Brown, but that's besides the point. I am rambling. I think that the Celtics should throw out a deal on Anthony Davis. Yes, you could do Jason Tatum, Kings pick, Grizzlies pick. You could do Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Kings pick. You could do Jaylen Brown, Kings, Grizzlies, Clippers pick. You could throw a lot out there. You could probably say Pelicans don't want to rebuild once they trade Davis, or if they trade Davis, and they still want to win now. You could ask for like Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Kings pick, or Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Kings pick. You don't really have to just take young assets here or draft picks. You can honestly get from the Celtics probably Al Horford or Gordon Hayward if you're giving up Anthony Davis. Now, I don't know if you would want Gordon Hayward or Al Horford. I mean, Al Horford's not bad. It'd be a 1-year deal because this I'm talking about in the offseason. But I think that the Celtics should make a play on Anthony Davis. Either it's involving Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, 3 of those picks they have that aren't theirs, or Gordon Hayward or Al Horford. They should try to get 100% get this deal done if they're retaining Kyrie Irving in the offseason. If Kyrie, for some reason, leaves, you disregard that. I still don't think you pay Rozier that much money, but you could try to bring Rozier back, and you still build a foundation or a young core of Rozier, Smart, Tatum, Brown, and then you try to do whatever you want with Hayward. Then you abandon the Anthony Davis trade. There's no point in that if Kyrie leaves. Next team I'm going to talk about, the 4th team, I believe, is going to be the Utah Jazz. Now, obviously, I don't think the Utah Jazz are going to be in any market to make a trade, as they really don't have that many young assets. Obviously, they have their one premier, Donovan Mitchell, but he's going nowhere. And you do have Rudy Gobert, who's your only player making above 20 mil. Now, Ricky Rubio's $14 million contract, almost 15 mil. Done after this year. I didn't like the Dante Exum signing at the time. Still don't like it. Was stupid. They were just bidding against themselves. They could have probably got him for a lot cheaper. But you have his contract for the next 3 years. Derek Favors, you have a team option. I would decline that. There is a nice power forward market. I'm not going to mention the power forward market. I was going to talk about a particular point guard that's in free agency. You could probably guess it. There is going to be Julius Randle. I believe there's going to be, no, Julius Randle's in 2 years. Wait, the Pelicans really got Julius Randle for 2 years, 18 mil. Holy crap, that was the biggest steal of the offseason. I might make a video on that, like my biggest steals from last offseason. But yeah, so there's going to be Tobias Harris, but I don't really know if you're going to be in the market for Tobias Harris. I think you'll have money. Obviously, you have Jay Crowder and Kyle Korver picking up 14 mil in total next year. You could probably squeeze money, and I'm saying you try to get a 3rd superstar with Rudy Gobert, with Donovan Mitchell, and you try to persuade Kemba Walker to come to Utah. Now, I don't know what you have to do. If there's something about salt in your lakes, or, I don't know, Mormon culture, or jazz music, or snowboarding. Maybe Kemba Walker's a big snowboarder. He was from Yukon, Connecticut. I don't think they really have that many mountains there, but who knows? Maybe he's a skier in the summer, and he likes to hit the slopes, and he could come to Utah. I'm just saying, you call up Quinn Snyder, you call up Rudy, you call up Donovan Mitchell, you sit him down in a room, you give a presentation to Kemba if he doesn't sign a deal midseason or he's fully committed to going back to Charlotte, and you try to make a play for Kemba Walker. Now, obviously, Utah hasn't been really a big free agency destination. Couldn't tell you the last big free agent they signed, but there's probably one off the top of my head. What was it? Boozer? I guess it was Boozer, right? But I don't know. There's probably somebody in between there. Millsap? I feel like Millsap was just drafted by Utah. I'm sorry. I don't know my Utah Jazz history. But I do think they should try to make a play for Kemba Walker. Yes, you could try to throw out a deal at D'Angelo Russell or Eric Bledsoe out there. But I'm saying you should try to go Kemba. You sit down Rudy, you sit down Quinn, you sit down Donovan Mitchell. You say how good you can be with Kemba Walker. You try to maybe get some cap flexibility if you either move Korver, or if you can either move Crowder, or if you can either move, God forbid, Ingles or Exum, if that's even possible to move Exum at this point. But you sit them down, you offer Kemba Walker 30 mil, backload it, he'll make 35 mil when he's 34 years old, and you try to get that third superstar in Utah to make them, they're like a borderline playoff team this year. Obviously, they were a lot better last year. They're having more of a down year this year. Say you had Kemba Walker in that team, and then maybe you can work out a deal with Derek Favors to come back on a cheaper deal that you can afford, so you don't go on the luxury tax or whatever. You try to do that, and I don't know, like Kemba Walker, Donovan Mitchell, I don't know if you want to throw Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver, Ingles at the 3, Favors, Gobert. That's pretty filthy, and I would say that's probably a guaranteed top 5 team in the West, and you really don't have that much uncertainty anymore. Okay, for my last team, you could have thrown a lot of teams in here, but this is a team I kind of wanted to have fun with, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, obviously, Milwaukee Bucks have one of the best young players in the NBA that we've ever seen, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo, the dude who just dominates the floor and can put up 30 and 15 with ease. He literally doesn't even have to try to do it. And he's under control or contracts for the next 2 years after this year. We're making 25 then 27 million. And you have an interesting spot. Now, George Hill, I believe, has a team option this summer. I could be wrong, but I believe his $18 million deal next year is a team option. That could be wrong. Eric Bledsoe, free agent this summer. Chris Middleton, player option, but he's going to opt out because he can make a lot more than 13 mil. You have Mirza Teletovic, I believe, just had to retire, so his contract's on the books. You're paying Ilyasova 7 mil next 2 years. You still got Thon Maker on his rookie deal, and DJ Wilson and DiVincenzo. And Malcolm Brogdon, restricted free agent this summer. And yeah, you got Tony Self for next 2 years. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know if it could be in a trade or a free agency signing, but say hypothetically, you're letting Eric Bledsoe walk. You can maybe get Malcolm Brogdon back on a team-friendly deal. Given that he's also a restricted free agent, you might have to let Chris Middleton walk, and you might have to let Chris Middleton walk, and that's given if George Hill's deal is done. And then honestly, I'm having fun with free agency. If you're gonna do that, there is a lot of good free agents this summer. I mean, I don't think Kyrie Irving's gonna be a hot spot to Milwaukee. Kemba Walker would be fun. I don't know how likely that'd be. Kawhi Leonard would also be fun. Don't know how likely that would be. I think he's going to stay in Toronto, but it would be really interesting to see if he's going to leave. Kevin Durant would honestly be an interesting signing as well. Obviously, Kevin Durant would make them insane. But two ball phenomenal players, you're giving Giannis and KD. Giannis is going to be the best player in the NBA in like 4 years. So, I don't know. That's also a good signing. You have plenty of good centers. You have DeMarcus Cousins. Hopefully his injury doesn't affect his career too much, but it's not looking that good. You're going to have, who else do you have that's a center? Marcus Gasol, DeAndre Jordan, not that exciting. Tobias Harris, but you've already done that experiment on Milwaukee. I don't know. I'm just saying or you have D'Angelo Russell. I'm just saying Milwaukee, I want to see, Kevin Durant would be cool in Milwaukee, but it would take them to the next level. I'm not saying, I don't really know for this 15 what superstar they could get via trade or free agency. But I'm just saying, Chris Middleton, I don't know if he's there. That could be that guy with Giannis that can make you a lead and win you a championship. I think you got to give him like a fair shot. He started off really hot this year. He's been struggling a little bit as of late. He's not the best December. But, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you could add a superstar like a Kevin Durant caliber, or even like a Kemba Walker caliber, which I think is definitely would be an upgrade over Bledsoe, and then say you could sign Kemba and somehow use your cap and still bring back Middleton, but you would have to let Brogdon and Bledsoe walk, hey, That's still impressive as hell. Or you can get, like, I know they don't really like a rim protector center. You could go after Vucevic in free agency. Imagine you get Vucevic, Kemba. I don't know. Imagine you have Brogdon, Bledsoe, Middleton, Giannis, and Vucevic. I mean, that would be pretty interesting as hell. But I don't know. I think Milwaukee really needs another superstar to take them to the next level for them to be a guaranteed Eastern Conference champion, possibly NBA Finals champion if Kevin Durant leaves the Warriors, because nobody's beating the Warriors. I don't care. Yes, the Lakers did beat them convincingly on Christmas night, but they're not beating them in a 7-game series, nor is any team. The Warriors are winning it all this year, especially if DeMarcus Cousins comes back fully healthy and to his old self. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the 5 teams I think should make a trade to take them to the next level where they can go out and compete for a championship, or just set them better and put them in a better situation than what they are now. Let me know if you guys enjoyed these videos. If you disagree with any of the topics, let me know in the comments. If you didn't like what I said about the Lakers, Heat, Bucks, Jazz, or Celtics, let me know in the comments. I open it to a debate. I'd rather you guys comment and stuff than not comment at all, and give me your opinions on what you guys think, or give me a team if you think like maybe the Knicks, or I don't know, Houston or Toronto or Portland or Detroit. I don't know. If you guys think that any of those teams should go out and get a superstar and they think you can, or you think they can, let me know in the comments and who they can get. So yeah, that is going to be for me. Thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you guys hit a like button on this video. Show me support so I could do more of these videos, so I don't have to do rebuilds every day, because that's obviously going to be the bread and butter, but I would like to do stuff like this where I don't have to do a rebuild every day. So yeah, that is going to be for me. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys. See you guys in the next video. Peace.